Hey guys, so today you and I are going to talk about being bored. So let's get into it. So the question in question was, Hi Frederick, I work as a senior software developer and I make $110,000 a year. I don't know if that's much or not. I have no idea. Should I leave for the sake of professional development because I'm really bored at my current place of work? I have received offers from other companies, but every time I start thinking about moving, my current employer offers me a better deal. Well, honestly, I would say that you have to do I'll give you a free one. This is a trick that I've been using since forever, basically. And the trick that I use is I call it the pizza test. The pizza test is a very simple way that I motivate whether or not I should buy something, but this thing should pretty much apply here as well. So the pizza test is that whatever I want to buy, I try to measure how many pizzas could I buy for this thing, or how many movie tickets could I do. How you can retrofit it to whatever thing. Like, I mean, I love pizza. I love it. It's like it is the chocolates of food, the best thing ever. Uh, and I use it as a way to figure out how many times would I get very short-term enjoyment from something. So when I say I'm going to buy something that might be a little bit too frivolous, I just ask myself, if I really were using this thing that I'm going to buy, or I did this thing, how much enjoyment would I have from that? Like, just in time, how many pizzas would I get? Because that's the thing, right? A lot of money seeps through your fingers if you say you go out a lot of the time and so forth, and at some point you're going to have to you're going to have this sensation that, well, you're spending a lot of money but you might not actually get as much enjoyment from it. But then there are things that are very costly for you that you really do enjoy. An example would be, maybe you shop a lot of clothes but you don't really wear them all that much and you don't really value them. Well, then the equation is wrong, because you're probably going to have a better time going out with your friends and eating pizza than having that new pair of jeans or whatever it is that you're buying, right? But for me, an example would be, if I were to buy myself a new computer, that equation will always land in the favor of the computer, because if I look at how much enjoyment I get from my computer and how much time I spend with it, I will get that time back. Like, I will get that money back in like a fraction of the time, because I'm going to it's the same thing with the movie. An average movie is around what, 2 hours long or something like that. And if you just calculate how many movies would you have to watch in order to get the equation changes, you will figure out that, well, if you have a new TV and you watch a lot of TV, you're gonna earn that money back like that. So the same thing I would say that you should do here. You should, if you are bored at work and you don't really enjoy work, well, then that means that you are spending, I don't know, let's say a standard 8 hours or something like that at your place of work. So now you're earning a certain amount more than you could have in a more stimulating place of work. So now you have to ask yourself, how much is it going to cost you to get that back? If you can even think that way. I don't really think that you can do this. I really do believe that this is a similar mental mistake people make as to sleep, where some people believe that if you deprive yourself of sleep for a long period, all you have to do is just sleep as long again to get all that energy back. That's not how the human body works. It's more like a wave, where if you destabilize your sleep patterns, it's actually usually better for you to just try to get back to a normal sleeping pattern and accept that you can't sleep as long, and continue that process until everything stabilizes out. It's, as I said, it's more like a wave than a cup. You're not draining and filling something. You're actually trying to stabilize a moving thing. And I think that same thing is 100% true for work and so forth. I think it's really rare to see someone who really hates their job be able to make up that for that dislike of their profession, for their role, in their spare time. Because if you really think about it, depending on your spare time, unless you are like a single 20 something with a lot of friends and so forth, odds are that you have a lot of other stuff that you have to do in your spare time. So you're not gonna get like and then you need to sleep. So those 8 hours that you are really really bored, well, you're if you can deal with it, because a lot of people just kind of learn how to live with it, then there's no problem. But if you really don't like it, you're probably not going to get that time back, even if you do earn some more money. I know this is, for a lot of people, this is going to sound really really weird, but I spoke to a old coworker of mine a while back, and he was explaining, he is a little bit of a money whore, I'm going to be honest, or I've told him that several times, and he kind of admits it. And we've also talked about why he probably is that way. But I tried, because he was asking me, Fredrik, why is it that you don't really care so much about like getting the maximum salary? And I said, well, it's very simple, because no company will be able to pay me the amount of money I would need to get a lifestyle that is so high that it would be worth me sacrificing my daily happiness. So what I will argue to you is that if you, as I was saying, if you're supposed to sacrifice 8 hours of your day every single day, and then you're supposed to make that up in some fashion, you will have to make some serious money or be a very specific type of person, because you're going to have to squeeze all of your enjoyment into buying frivolous things or buying expensive things, going on vacations as much as possible. Or, I mean, you could of course also just bite the bullet and retire early. Like, there are many strategies you can slice this cake, right? But all of them are very much dependent on that you are making enough money, because that's the thing that is really important. There is a threshold for your living standard. If you make a few $100 more a month, sure, it's going to matter, but the question is that going to be enough money for you to weigh up the fact that you don't like what you do? And if I mean, this is not necessarily true, but if you think about it the other way, if you go down in salary but you really love what you do, well, then your happiness is going to be more affordable. And because that's kind of the thing that I think some people forget sometimes. What apart from social status and of course security, but I mean, if you're a software developer, odds are that you are not going to have to worry that you're not going to have retirement money if you save and so forth. So just having more money, what is, just really ask that, what is the real value in that if you're not happy? If you are unhappy and you just have a bunch of money, and then the money itself is not really giving you a higher value of life. It's just giving you social status and security. And at some point, I promise you, you will have more than enough money to stabilize all of those areas, so that you don't really have to be afraid of that you're going to be out on the streets or something like that. So I really think that you should consider that. I think that because if your employer is continuously giving you more and more money, well, I mean, that's great if you care about it. But it seems from my perspective, like, if you're bored at work and you don't really enjoy it, well, you only have these two options, as I said. Either you have to do the thing that a lot of people do, which is just, well, I'm fine with being bored, I'll just half-ass it and then try to find some other way in my spare time to make up for all that boredom, or you have to change jobs. So what I want you to take away from this is that I think that you should really consider what will make you happy. I'm just speaking from my own experience now, and what I usually say is that the people who are the most fulfilled and actually do enjoy life the most are not necessarily the people who chase the highest paycheck. They are the people who find something that they really like, and in some cases that is in their spare time, and in some cases it's in work. Because just because you change jobs doesn't mean that, oh, you should lower your salary, therefore you will be a lot happier in that new profession, in that new role. That's not how it works. You could, in theory, of course, raise your salary and go to a job where you really love it. And I mean, that would be a win-win situation. But I think that you should start to think use my pizza test. Really think about it. How much money or how much time will you have to invest in something, and how much are you going to get back for that thing that you could have? And I think that you will find that even if your boss keeps on adding a few $100 or whatever to your salary, you will probably find that it's going to be hard for you to earn enough money to put yourself at a new pay bracket, or a new bracket where you can do things that you could not possibly have done if you were at a slightly lower paying job that you really enjoy. And that, I think, is the big illusion that a lot of people don't really think about. Just having more money doesn't mean that you have enough money to make yourself happier. It's just slightly more money than you have, and you're still as miserable. And in that scenario, it might be worth actually going down in salary to be happy, because it's going to be cheaper for you. Have a great day.